Is it live? I think it's live. I'm not sure. Trying to get settled in, guys. Uh-oh. I disconnected it. You are live. Yep. We are live. Okay. So. Yeah, let's... Okay. I'm charging. I'm ready. Hi, guys. DeFranco, thank you for joining my live feed about, we're doing this live to do questions and answers for the people that have been asking me to do this. So we did our first one, I don't know, I think it was January 12th. We did our first live for our Q&A. So that was very much fun, and we're starting to perhaps do this more often for the people that have questions for me. So yeah, that's where we're at. I guess while we're trying to get everybody to start watching and to log in, I can tell you a little bit about what we did last month. So last month, my friend and assistant suggested that we do a live Q&A for the people that contact me, because I get a lot of people contacting me with questions and comments, and I don't have time to answer everyone, and some of the questions are repetitive. So we thought that it would be a good idea for us to go ahead and do the live and then perhaps answer more questions that way. And that way you guys get your question answered. And then most of you can, or all of you guys that have the same question can get your question answered. There, God, it's so hard to say it. Your question answered all at the same time, so it saves me a little bit of time doing so. I'm not trying to be rude when I don't reply to your direct messages and or whatever comments you guys do. It's just sometimes I don't have time. So this was our best option that we came up with. By we I mean that we came up with trying to get everyone answered. So with that rambling going on, let me, with my broken phone, can you see? I'm going to get it fixed tomorrow. Let me share the video with the people that requested the video, so that way they know that we are live now. So give me a moment. Go get your drink. I have mine, by the way. Oh, sorry. Let me get back to that in just a minute. Look at this. Look how awesome this cup is. Isn't it fabulous? They wrote my name, and then they wrote Reno Diva. That's awesome. I do a lot of events where I go and speak. And so I had the wonderful opportunity to speak at this group, or for this group. It's a group of young girls. And so after I was done speaking, they gave me this. It was awesome. And, I'm so sorry if my voice is kind of bad. I've been sick the last few days. So, anyways, so it's called Voice Counseling and Life Skills. So, they gave me this fancy thing and this fancy thing. So, I'm super excited, which I'm going to be sipping out of this cup all night. Anyway, back to... getting these people notifications. So give me just a moment so I can do this and get everybody situated. So, do we have any questions or no?
Ya, los que quedaron pendientes.
Let me see. And so last month when we did our Q&A, we had some people that we missed. We had like an insane amount of comments. So I couldn't answer every single one. I tried, and I thought we did, but apparently we missed some. So we're going to go ahead and start with those questions now. And then once we get those questions answered, we're going to go ahead and go with, the other questions that come along. So bear with us.
Okay.
And if you know anyone that has questions about real estate or are wanting to get started in real estate investing, tag them on the video so they can get their questions answered.
Primera, Maria Isabel Peña. When are you looking for your next project? What is the first thing that you've taken into consideration? ARV, price range, budget, or area?
Okay.
Margin of profit to make.
So we're going to start with those questions again that we missed last month. So Maria asked a question, and the question was what again?
When you are looking for your next project, what is the first thing you take in consideration? ARV, price range, budget, or area, or margin of profit to make?
Okay, so the question was, I don't know if you guys can hear the question, but the question was, dang it, I lost it. I know what the question is, but I have to...
It's big.
Okay.
The first one.
Okay, so Maria, it says, when are you looking for the next project? What is the first thing you take into consideration? ARV range, budget, or the area, or the margin of profit you make? Well, for me, I don't really... look at any particular area. I don't really look at anything other than the numbers. What are the numbers? So if it makes sense, thank you. If it makes sense to do that deal. I've done deals where they're an hour away from me, an hour and a half away from me. But if I'm going to make money off of it, I don't really care where the deal is. I don't really look at what the house looks like or what area it's in. Really, I look at what the numbers are. If those numbers are going to make sense for me to go ahead and drive an hour away, or for me to take on a project that looks like a tear down for someone else or the average eye. It may look like a tear down, but it's really not a tear down. So I just really look at what the numbers are. I think that's what I go for. I don't care about an ARV. I've done houses where I've sold them for $20,000, and I've done houses where I've sold them for over $600,000. So the ARV doesn't really matter to me. I can go to the hood or I can go to the upscale neighborhoods. It doesn't matter. As long as the numbers make sense, that I'm doing the 70% loan to value, I am good. So, for example, if a house is the ARV, which for some of the people that don't know what that means after repair value. If the ARV is $100,000 and I need $20,000 in repairs, then I'm definitely going to have to buy that house at $50,000 because the $50,000 to purchase the house, $20,000 to rehab the house, and the rest is just for holding costs and then profit, and once we turn around and sell it, and then that's where we go from. So I think that's what I look for in a deal, is that it's 70% loan to value. Some people say that doesn't exist anymore, but if you know how to negotiate, you can definitely get 70% loan to value. So in my opinion.
Okay, we have a question. Mike, what is it that you do?
Mike, what is it that I do? Mike, I am a real estate investor. I started about 4 years ago investing in real estate. And so what I do is I buy properties that are mainly properties that are in need of repair. And I go ahead and buy them, fix them, and sell them for profit. In the short version, that's what I do.
Vanessa, if one of those that have no money of their own, what does the hard money investor look at?
If what?
One does have no money.
If one does not have money, what does a hard money lender look for? Okay. I'm not a hard money lender, so I wouldn't know. There's a lot of, and let me just say this disclaimer really quick because I didn't say it at the beginning of the video. You know, I'm not an expert in real estate investing at all. I can only answer questions that I know or things that I've been through to help you with your real estate investing career. But you know, with that being said, I want you to understand that I don't know the answer to everything. I can answer, you know, what I know and what I've done, and that's pretty much it. So, back to the question. Hard money lenders, I'm not a hard money lender, so I don't know. And I wouldn't be able to answer for a hard money lender because they all have different requirements, so I don't know what each hard money lender requires. But most hard money lenders don't really ask you to have money. They do want money, or they do want you to have money in your bank account, because normally what they do is they let you borrow money to buy the house. And then once you have the property, they want you to use your own money to start the renovation of that house. And then once they see work done, then they come and give you a draw. For example, they'll give you $10,000 because that's all the work that you've done so far. And then, you know, you do another $10,000, $15,000 worth of work, and then they come back and reimburse you for that money again. So that's the only reason why they ask for you to have money in your savings or your checking account, is so you can go ahead and start the renovation on your own. And that way you can have a little bit of skin in the game when you are renovating these properties. But they shouldn't ask you for much money. But if you have like credit card or lines of credit or whatever, you should be fine. You could use those to start your renovation, and then you get reimbursed that money back from the repair budget that you have with that hard money lender. So depending on your hard money lender, you know, they all have different rules and guidelines. So you should shop around to see which one best fits you best in the process of investing that you, or in the timeline that you are right now. You know, you grow out of contractors, you grow out of hard money lenders. Excuse me, let me take a drink because I'm getting thirsty.
You might want to read this one.
So anyway, you can outgrow all of these people. So you know, you're going to change contractors, you're going to change hard money lenders and all that. So just shop around, and you know, you'll find someone that can work with you. There's a lot of people lending out there, so you shouldn't have a problem if, you know, you don't have a lot of funds.
I want to read this one. This is Jason.
Excuse me. I thought we were gonna do the questions that we
First,
yeah.
okay, so I will.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and take this one, but we're gonna go ahead and answer the questions that we missed last month first. So I'll take this question, and then we'll come back to these. So it says, Jason, hello. Here's my question. If it's a legit question, long story short, I'm trying to estimate with a seller, and it's a fire damage. They have HO, or homeowners policy, with limits on a house up to $620,000, which is actually a bit less than it will cost to replace, especially taking out land cost. Okay, I'm lost, but okay, we'll start over. Let me try to read it again. Then here's the other thing, like $220,000 for personal belongings loss. Okay, here's the question. Do you know how that works in general, just to help me down the right track to figuring out an offer with the owner? I'm not really sure what you're trying to ask, but if I understand correctly, they have a homeowner's insurance, and so they're going to use the insurance, or they're going to claim their insurance, and then they also have personal belongings insurance, so they're going to claim that too. I don't think that has anything to do with you. When you make an offer, it doesn't matter what they're getting for or from the insurance company. What matters, here you go. What matters is your numbers. Again, I go back to the numbers. If they have no insurance, regardless, they have no insurance and they cannot claim a single thing, you can only pay what you're able to afford on that property. So if the house is worth $100,000 once it's fixed and ready to go, and it needs $20,000 in repair, you can only buy that house for $50,000. The same thing goes for a fire damage house. Let's say it's worth $100,000 once it's repaired, and it needs $80,000, you know, in repairs, because this is potentially a more repairs that you need to do, just so you can kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. Let me do the numbers because I am horrible. So, and I'm talking so I can't think and do math in my head and talk. So, say for instance it needs $80,000 in repairs, and the house is worth $100,000 after you repair it. You cannot buy this house, because unless they give it to you for free, so they just deed it to you, which it does happen, and it has happened where they just deed it to someone. You cannot buy that property. So no matter what they're getting for their insurance, the numbers are the numbers. If this is what the house can sell for, and this is what you need to repair it, and you need to buy it at this, it doesn't matter what they're getting or what they're not getting. The numbers are the numbers, so you have to go with the numbers. And if it doesn't work out for them and it doesn't work out for you, don't do the deal. It's not worth it. It's just move on, go to the next one. Don't get attached to deals, because when you get attached to deals, then you start making mistakes and you start wanting to make it work, and it doesn't work, and it never did. And then you end up being in the position where you're getting foreclosed on, or you are getting into too much trouble, you know, with the property. You're over budgeted, or you know, it just so many things happen wrong when you're getting into a deal that is wrong from the beginning. If you buy right, you do well. Okay, I'm ready for the next one. Excuse me.
Pendiente. Linda, what's the story of Renovation Diva, and have you ever thought about training people on your own?
Okay, Linda asked if what's the story on Renovation Diva, and have I thought about training people on my own? And are we tagging them?
No.
I thought you said you were going to tag them.
Okay. I put the name, but I don't know the name. Come on.
You have to tag them.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so Linda asked if we are, no, I'm sorry, what was the story of Renovation Diva, right?
Yes.
Okay. What is the story with Renovation Diva, and can I train people? I do train people, or coach people, however you like to say it. I do coach them for about 6 months, and they're welcome to call me after the 6 months, and we have conversations, or I'll help them out with whatever, because a real estate investing, or a real estate world, or any job for that matter, you should never stop learning. You should always continue your education and whatever is it that you're doing. So you should always continue to learn. So I always tell my students that they're never going to learn everything in 6 months. So they need to call me back, and they need to, if they have any questions that we didn't discuss while we were in our coaching time. So yeah, I definitely do coach people. It's fun, it's great, but I just like to coach the people that that are serious, really serious about doing this, because if I'm gonna use my time on someone, I want it to be well invested. So I've invested in people in the past where I'm showing them how to do this, and they don't really I guess value my time as much. If I or the way that I used to do it before, they didn't value my time as much, and so now I've changed a couple things, and I have a little bit more of criteria, I guess. If you want more information about coaching, you can definitely send us an email to info@therenovationdiva.com. That's info@therenovationdiva.com, and that's THE renovationdiva.com. And how Renovation Diva got started? Well, I got started, I think that's the question, I'm not really sure. That's probably why we need to tag them, so.
I did.
Okay.
So I'm good.
How did Renovation Diva started? So Renovation Diva, I started about 4 years ago with my business, and so it was something that was out there for me to do. There's not a lot of opportunities for someone without education to do anything. You really have to work your way up when you are doing that, or whatever is it that you're doing, whatever job you have, whether you're working at a fast food place flipping burgers. You have to grow there, and you can only grow so far without an education. You could just only be like store manager or whatever at that fast food place, and then you're never going to go any further than that. That's where you're going to stay, and so that's not something that I wanted for me, and so I looked into different businesses, and this was one that best fit me. So that's how Renovation Diva got started. And I don't know if the question is like, how did the name start? But everybody always says that I'm a diva. I don't know where they get that from, but and then just doing the renovations, I guess it just kind of went hand in hand. I'm not really sure how the name got started. But a lot of people would say I'm a diva or whatever, so, and I guess because I do renovations, and so we just went ahead and called our company that, so I guess that's how we got started.
Okay, next question.
Question.
Ken Diggins.
Ken.
What market are you most interested in? I'm a wholesaler.
What market, and thank you, Ken, for your question. What market am I mostly interested in? The market that makes me money. That's the market I'm interested in. I don't care for a market. I don't really care. It could be, like I said, it could be in the ghetto. It could be in the most pristine neighborhood in the Houston area. I work in the Houston area and the greater Houston area. I go up to the suburbs I have properties, or I've done projects in Sugar Land. I've done them in Humble, in Kingwood, in Houston, obviously, Pearland, Manville, Pasadena. So I've gone all over, and of course the entire Houston area. I've gone all over to do projects, so I don't really care what area you bring the deal from, as long as it's that, you know, again, the ARV is 100,000 and it's 20,000 in repairs, then I need to buy that property at 50,000. If you get that property, deed it to you, and you make a $50,000 commission, I don't care. I don't care what your commission is. What I care is that my numbers make sense. So if I get a deal where there, like I said, the ARV is 100,000 and I need to put $20,000 in repairs, I have to buy that house at $50,000 or less. That's it. That's all I care for. You can bring me any deal just like that. And I know that there's a lot of people that say that there is no more houses that are 70% loan to value, but there is, because I buy them all the time. So that's what I look for. That's what I want. And, you know, when you bring me a house, you know, I do my due diligence. I look and see to make sure that everything that I am buying, excuse me, I check it out online, make sure that I look at my comps. And then I also look at what the repairs are. So don't bring me a house that potentially, let's say this house is a fire damage house and the entire roof is missing, and you tell me that it needs $20,000 in repairs. It's no way. You know, but I get deals like that all the time. You know, it's like, it doesn't work. This deal is not a deal. Yeah, the numbers may look like they're perfect, but they're not really perfect, because either your ARV is not correct or your repair budget is not correct. So anyway, if your repair budget is correct and your ARV is correct and it's 70% loan to value, I will buy any deal you have. So bring it. And usually we close about a day after we get clear title, and of course all the closing docs that we requested are there. So we can close in a week. You know, most likely it's a week, because by the time we get title commitment and then we review it, and then we send back the paperwork, it's usually about a week. But we've closed, sometimes we got under contract with this last house that we had on a Monday night, and then by Friday morning we were closing at the closing table. We would have closed sooner, but the seller did not have the survey, and we do not close without a survey, so he had to order one. And we had to wait for it to come, and it came on Friday morning. So that's the only reason why. Otherwise, we would have closed on a Wednesday. So literally two days after we got under contract. So we can definitely close quickly if you bring a deal that makes sense to us.
Ron comments.
Ron.
What was your first step on real estate, and what real estate school do you recommend to get you started?
Ron asked the question, what was my what?
First step on real estate.
What was my first step in real estate? The first step that I took in real estate was to learn. You need education, whether you pay for it, whether you learn by your own mistakes. You need some kind of education in real estate. You can't just go in blindfolded and just think that it's gonna be okay, or that, you know, that, oh, I'm just gonna wing it. No, you definitely need to know what you're doing when you're talking about real estate. So educating yourself is the first step in real estate. And then what was the other question Ron had?
Okay. And what school do you recommend to get started?
What school do I recommend to get started? I'm not really sure what school does, I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming like real estate, like for realtors?
What real estate school?
I guess if you're talking about realtors school, well, I went to Champions. I recently got, I think last year I got my license to be a real estate agent. And so, I got it with Champions and it was great. I like a classroom style. I can't do it online. I know that Allied is online, I believe, to get your real estate license, if that's what we're talking about. But I don't like online because then I get distracted with so many things. I need to have someone in front of me so I can be embarrassed to not look at my phone or to not be daydreaming, and so I can pay attention. So I have to have someone in front of me, and for that I went to Champions. That's where I took my real estate license course. Thank you, Ron, for your question.
Eddie.
Last week question, right?
Yeah, that was last week.
Last month, I'm sorry.
Another one. Eddie Borrego.
Eddie.
How much do you charge for coaching, and what are your requirements?
Eddie, how much do I charge for my coaching, and what are my requirements? Okay, well, my requirement is that I have someone that is completely invested in learning real estate, because I don't want to spend my time with someone that perhaps thinks that they want to do it or perhaps not. So I do have a fee, and the fee that I have, I think, is to get you to have skin in the game. I would definitely love to do it for free, and I've done it for free in the past where I've coached people in the past. But if something doesn't cost you money, then you don't really, appreciate it as much. And so I end up wasting my time. And so I rather spend my time growing my business than teaching someone that is not really invested in real estate. And the only way that I can do that is by having you pay for it, because it costs you money. So now you have to do it, so I do charge a fee. If you're interested in learning more about that, you can go ahead and send us an email to info@therenovationdiva.com, and that's THE, info@therenovationdiva.com. So, okay, I'm ready for the next one. Moises, I'm so sorry we missed your question last month. I'm so sorry. We tried to get everybody. I don't know how is it that we missed your question.
Do I need a CRM software? If so, which one?
Do I need a CRM software? If so, which one? I don't use a CRM software. All I do is I use this app that is called Asana. Excuse me. And that is such a wonderful app that I love using it. It's really, you can create folders, and then in those folders you can name them whatever. And so I have a folder where we'll do leads, or I have a folder for my tenants, and then I have a folder for taxes. And so we have a folder for everything, and then you could just put comments there for the entire office to read and see. So everyone knows what everyone is doing, or everyone knows what everyone is saying, or what the tenant wants, or what we need for this house that we're rehabbing. So everyone is on the same page as far as that. And then you can also put due dates. You can put due dates, and so if we need to do something by tomorrow, then we put a due date, and then we assign it to that one person that needs to do it. Or we can upload attachments or photos or whatever to that individual folder, so we can keep track of it. So when I have a lead, I put it in there, and then I talk to that lead, and right after I finish talking to that lead, I'll write everything we discussed. And so if I told them I was going to call them next week, so I put it on that task for me to call them back next week. And so next week, when that day comes, I'll get an email saying, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. And so I'll go ahead and call them back, and we discuss whatever we discuss, and I'll type it up again and say what we discussed. So every time we have a history of what we've talked to them about, what we've said, what they said, and where we are right then and there. So we start building rapport with all these different leads, for example. This is what I'm talking about. So we'll build rapport, and so every time we talk to them, we're like, hey, how are your five cats or 5 dogs or 5 kids, whatever. So they're like, oh, how did you remember that? Well, we wrote it all on there, and we know that this person has all these things they love or whatever. So I really like that app. It's called Asana. It's ASANA, and that's what I use. I don't use anything fancy, and it works great for me, so I like it. Thank you, Moses, and I'm so sorry I didn't answer your question last month.
Last question for the last time.
Okay, so last question that we missed last month.
Time, yes,
Okay.
yes. Lisette, will a real estate license be beneficial to start in real estate investing?
Will a real estate license be beneficial to start real estate investing? It's not required for you to have a license, because I started investing in real estate in 2012, and I didn't get my license till last year. So, and I've done fine before I got my license, and I just got my license just to prove myself that I could get a license, because I don't have education, and just getting as many certificates that I can, I think it helps me be a little bit more confident. That's the only reason why I got my license, not because I need it. So, you don't really need a license to do real estate investing. It does help. It definitely helps to have one. But if you create a great relationship with a realtor or realtors, you don't really need it. They can help you. And of course, you're going to help them by, whenever you buy these houses, hopefully you buy them from them. And if you buy them directly from the seller, then when it's time to turn around and sell those rehabbed houses, then you can get those guys to, list it for you. So you kind of help each other out with that. So it's not necessary, but it does help to have one. If you're wanting to start investing in real estate, you don't need one. It's not something you have to have. Thank you for your question.
Okay. Andrew.
Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Andrew.
What is the difference in the strategy when acquiring a home of the MLS versus an equity purchase and agreement?
Okay, I didn't understand.
I don't understand that. Let me see.
Okay.
I think I got it right here. This is hard.
Sorry, we're getting it. Let me see.
I'm trying to get this one. I lost it right here.
Okay. What was the name of it? What was his name?
Andrew.
Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find the question, Andrew. Okay. Let me go in and take a look. Andrew, what is the difference in strategy when acquiring a home off of the MLS versus an equity purchase agreement? Oh, let me see. I don't know what that means. I mean, equity purchase agreement. So you're just buying their equity, or I'm not sure what the question is. Maybe if you can rephrase it for me, so I can understand it. I'm sorry, I apologize. But there shouldn't be any difference, I guess, in general, wherever you buy your deal from, whether you're buying it directly from the seller, whether you're buying it with an agent, whether you are buying it from an MLS, that you don't even have an agent. You're just getting that agent to, I guess, be in the middle of you and the seller. It doesn't really matter. Again, I'm back to the same answer. What matters is how you purchase it, what the numbers look like. If the numbers make sense, it doesn't matter how you get the deal. I had a guy ask me, and this is why I don't like to answer questions, because they're very time consuming when, I don't do this specifically. It's very time consuming. I had a guy send me a comment the other day and said, hey, Dee, can I ask you a question? And I was like, sure. I was sick, so I didn't have anything else to do but to sit there and be on Facebook, which was boring. Like, I hated it. So anyway, I didn't have anything else to do, so I said, sure, go ahead and ask me your question, a question. And so ended up being like 10 questions, because one question leads to another question, and we ended up spending like 4 hours talking. So, it just, that's why I don't answer questions on, mostly, other than like what we're doing right now. So, back to your question. There's no strategy. The only strategy I have is that the numbers make sense, Doesn't matter. I've bought subject to properties, which means subject to the existing loans staying in place, or taking over payments, the same thing. I've bought properties where I've bought them cash. I bought them off of MLS. I've bought properties directly from the seller. I've paid thousands of dollars, or $1,000. So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you are buying this property at the right numbers. So again, I go back to the same formula. If the house sells for $100,000 and there's $20,000 in repairs, you cannot buy this house for more than $50,000. That is it. There's no strategy but that one. That's it. So if that wasn't what you were looking for as an answer, just go ahead and retype your question and we'll try to answer it that way. Yes?
Eloise.
Okay. Next question.
Eloise, what are the 3 main steps to get started as a real estate investor? And do you suggest getting a mentor/coach?
What are the 3 main steps to start being a real estate investor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I'll answer the next part, because then I'll get confused. Okay, so the first question, or what are the 3 first steps to becoming a real estate investor? So to become a real estate investor, you have to educate yourself. You have to know what you're doing. So I think that would be the most important thing to do, is finding out what you need to do, understanding what you're doing. Whether, when I first started, I didn't know what anything was. So, knowing dang it, I drew a blank. Like the contracts, knowing the contracts, knowing what a contract is, knowing what the repairs are. You need to know all these things. So you really have to educate yourself. Next thing you need to know is you have to network. If you don't know people, how are you going to get things done? You need to know people so they can help you. So the things that you don't know, they can walk you through. You make those friendships, and so you're like, hey, I don't know how to fill out this contract. Well, maybe they have a few minutes to spare to kind of show you what it is like. But if you just can't go to person that you just met 2 minutes ago and then say, hey, can you fill out this contract for me? Well, they're not going to do it. They have to be your friend. You have to have some kind of relationship with them. So know that that you need to be networking. So first thing is you got to get educated, and then you have to network to meet people that are in the same industry and that are like-minded. Someone that is going to want the same things you do and have the same vision as you do for your future. Third, just go find a deal, I guess. It's just getting your feet wet. Don't worry about you don't know this or you don't know that. If you have a coach and you have someone that is guiding you through this, you should be fine. You don't need anything. You just really have to jump in there. I know a lot of people that say they want to be in real estate investing. I know a lot of people that want to be in real estate investing, but they're too scared to jump and they're too scared to take that step. So just go ahead and take it. Just I hear this saying a lot and I love it. I always try to tell myself that as well, because I have to remind myself sometimes, or throughout the day, or maybe throughout the month, I have to remind myself of these things. So you always hear people say, knowledge is power. And so I heard this saying, or I read it somewhere, whatever, I don't know, where it's knowledge is not power, action on that knowledge is. So if you don't get up and do it, even if you have the best coach ever, and this coach is a guru, because no one, I say like this because I don't think anyone ever knows everything, so to me, a guru is someone that knows everything. Well, that I don't know anyone that knows everything but God, so I wouldn't say that anyone in this earth living right now knows everything about real estate. That would be silly for me to think that someone is like that out there. So I honestly, dang it, I just lost my train of thought right now. But going back to the question, I don't think anyone knows everything about real estate, but I definitely do think that you need to have a coach to teach you everything that they know, so you can go ahead and be comfortable in jumping and taking that step, and feel that someone out there has a little bit more experience than you, and they'll know how to guide you to what you need to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess those would be my 3 top points, which is, you have to learn what you're doing, and then you have to go out there and network, because if you don't know anybody, then you're never going to get anything done. And then you have to have action, because you could know everyone and you could know everything about real estate, but if you don't do anything about it, it doesn't really matter. So, and what was the second part of that question? I'm sorry.
Did you suggest getting a mentor or a coach?
Do I suggest getting a mentor or a coach?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I definitely believe that you need coaching. I guess I kind of answered it with the first part of that question. You definitely need someone to tell you. You don't have to have someone to tell you what to do in real estate, in the real estate world. But if you don't have anyone guiding you to do this investing thing, you're gonna have to learn on your own. And these mistakes that we make in real estate, they're not cheap. Some mistakes are 10, 15, 20,000, 100,000. I've even know people that have made $500,000, $800,000 mistakes. So if you don't know what you're doing, you can get in a lot of problems, a lot of trouble, a lot of financial burdens. So, so you can get into a lot of trouble. So I definitely think that having a coach is beneficial, but it's not a must. It's totally up to you what you'd like to do. So hopefully that answers your question.
Jonna.
Hi, Jonna.
Do banks give loans for a down payment? And then it says, I want to start, but I have no idea how to buy with not much money in hand.
Do banks
give loans?
Do banks give loans
for a down payment?
For a down payment? Just for the down payment? I don't think a bank would do that. Banks don't really like to give loans for real estate investors. They think it's really risky. And who can blame them with, you know, the market downfall that we had not too long ago. So I don't think that there's banks that do that. I mean, I'm sure there might be one or two, but I don't know of any. Normally, what I used to do when I first started is, say for instance, I get a hard money lender to lend on my deal, and they're going to lend for the purchase price, and they're going to lend for the rehab, but they want me to bring in $20,000, $30,000 to closing because, you know, they want me to have some skin in the game. I would get a second lien on that property, and I would have that person or that lender lend on that property whatever closing cost I needed for that. So, excuse me, my throat is just horrible. So that's what I did in the beginning. I would just ask individuals to go ahead and give me a second lien for whatever closing costs that I needed, because I don't think a bank would do that. And they wouldn't want to be in second lien anyway. They think it's risky already. So imagine being on a second lien position. They probably wouldn't want it. So perhaps you can start talking to people like maybe your friends, your family, your dentist, your doctor, people that know what you're doing. Ask them for money and see if they want to go ahead and start investing with you. When I first started, I asked people to invest with me, and some of the people were like, no, we're not going to do it. And as they see that, you know, you're doing deals and that these deals are being successful, then you start getting these lenders, you know, coming up and asking to use their money, you know, so we'll use it. So hopefully that helps you, and get up and do something, you know, invest. Go find you a deal, and if that's a good deal, you will find the money for that deal. So, but sometimes, like I said, we get stuck on those deals and we think they're deals because we're just getting desperate because we don't find one, and we really want that one deal to work, and so we can't find the money, and so the hard money lender is telling you need to bring money to closing because the deal doesn't make sense. So they're wanting you to come up with that portion that does not make sense, and that's where we come into issues. So find you a deal where you don't have to bring any money into closing. Perhaps that's the best way to go on the first deal, and then people will see that you did it, and then they'll want to lend you money in the future. So hopefully that can help you, and hopefully that answered your question. Felix.
Do you mentor?
Felix, thank you for your question. Yes, I do mentor. My mentoring program is for 6 months. And so I mentor people that are here in the Houston area. And we spend a lot of time together. We're out and about together. So that's why I only mentor people in the Houston area, because we do a lot of things together. They spend the day with me or whatever, and we'll go and do marketing together. So we'll just spend a lot of time with each other, and you know, I can show them what is it that I do, and it's more of a hands-on training. So I prefer that people are here near me so they can go ahead and, you know, be around me, and we can do things together. So we can discuss things more, and you know, we'll go to negotiations together, or we'll see deals together, rehabs together, or marketing together. So that's what I do with my students. So thank you for your question.
Cassandra Ruiz.
Cassandra. Hi, Cassandra. How are you?
Do you have an attorney review all your documents before signing?
Do I have an attorney to review all my documents before signing, depending on what I'm signing? If it's a document that I've already have done in the past, then no. You know, because it's a document that I created, that I had my attorney review, and that we use over and over again. But if it's something that I've never seen before, yes, we definitely get attorneys to review to make sure that I'm not getting into something I shouldn't be getting into. I'm not a very good reader. I hate reading. It bores me to death to read. I can read little articles, but you have my attention for just a very short period of time. So, and there's no way I could read a contract and know what I'm talking about. I probably only read the first 2 sentences, and that's as far as I get. So, yes, we always get attorneys to read our paperwork. If it's paperwork we've never signed before, we've never seen before. It's very, very important that you do that. Don't sign anything that you don't know what you're signing, because sometimes you get into a lot of problems like that. So read the paperwork. Read it. If you don't understand it, that's when you call an attorney. Okay. Thank you for your question.
Pam.
I'm sorry, what was it? The name?
Pam.
Pam.
Is that, are the majority of your buyers using traditional financing, or do you sell offering owner financing to your buyers?
Okay, Pam, do my buyers use traditional financing, or do I offer owner financing? I do offer owner financing and some deals. Not a lot of them qualified for me to do owner financing. And I don't really like to do owner financing too much anyway. I prefer that if I'm going to do that, I'd just rather rent the house out than to sell it owner finance. I don't know why, I prefer that. And as far as the other buyers, they're usually every house that I rehab, that I put on the market, or 100% of the houses that I rehab and I put on the market, do get traditional financing. They have their own, mortgage and all that. We go through all that period of seeing if they qualify for the house and everything. So, for sure, we use traditional financing. There are some oh my God, I can't say it anymore. There are some cases where we do owner finance, but not many. So if we have the opportunity to do so, of course, definitely we want to owner finance. So, but if not, it doesn't work, then no, it's traditional. Thank you for your question.
Jose Ventura.
Jose, thank you for your question.
What do you look for when buying barn homes? How do you terminate your offer on it?
Okay, it was something about burn houses.
What do you look for?
What do I look for
when buying burn homes?
When I buy burn homes, okay. What do I look for? Let me just answer one question at a time.
Okay.
What do I look for when I buy burn homes? I don't really have anything I look for other than the numbers. I go back to the same thing. I just look at the numbers. If the numbers make sense, I'm all in. And what was the next part of that question?
How do you determine your offer on it?
How do I determine an offer? First, normally what happens is I get the phone call that there's a fire damaged house. And so I do kind of like a desktop analysis. I look at the house and I see what the neighborhood is selling for. I apologize. I see what the neighborhood is selling for and what I could potentially sell that house for. If there are any pictures, I like to see those pictures and take a look. If not, then like I said, I'm just really kind of getting a feel for what the neighborhood is selling for. And so once I get that determined, if I'm talking directly to the seller, then I make an appointment to go look at the house. If it's a wholesaler that's bringing me this deal, then I ask for pictures of this deal. And so when the wholesaler brings me the pictures, I take a look at the pictures and sort of guesstimate what the rehab cost is going to be. And how I determine that, I don't use this special formula or anything. I'm just like, okay, you know, normally I spend $15,000 in electrical. Okay, this house is probably going to be $15,000. So there's my budget for this house. I normally spend around $10,000 for plumbing, then that's what it is. And I'm just making these numbers up. I'm not saying that that's what I spend. And I'm going to spend $10,000 for painting, you know, and again, these are just numbers that I'm making up. That may not be what you spend on painting, especially if they're different size houses, you know. A 1,800 square feet house is not going to cost as much to paint as a $4,000, 4,000 square feet house. So, you know, I'm just using general numbers. So let's say it's 10, 10, 10, and then, you know, whatever else, the kitchen is 10 and the bathrooms are 10. So we're like, let's say we're at $50,000 in repairs, more or less, because I'm doing a desktop analysis with my wholesaler right now. So then I say, okay, well, this house could sell for this, and I'm buying it for this because these are my repairs. So more or less, you know, I tell them, hey, I can buy it anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000. Once I go look at the house, I can tell you for sure what I'll spend, because then I'm actually there. I can see all the damage and everything. So I'm going to spend this much on roof. I'm going to spend this much here, this much there. And if it's directly with the seller, like I said, I just do kind of a desktop analysis to see what the neighborhood is selling for. And then I go look at the house and determine there on site, okay, well, more or less is going to be $10,000 for plumbing, $10,000 for electrical, $10,000 for paint. And so I just kind of start making a mental note of what I'm going to spend. And so I do, I already have the after repair value in mind, because I already did that before I got to the house. So I already know that this house is going to be able to sell for $200,000. And if I minus the repairs off of that 70% loan to value number, then this is where I'm at. So I'm very quick to say, this is what I can offer. So that's pretty much how I analyze those deals. Hopefully that answers your question.
Alexi Rivera.
Alexi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How difficult was it when you became an investor?
How difficult was it when I became an investor? Alexi, it was very, very difficult. A little bit of my background. I dropped out of school when I was in 6th grade, and so you know, learning new things or new words was very difficult for me, because not only did I have to, let me get something to drink first. Not only did I have to learn the language of real estate, you know, like ARV and loan to value and wholesalers and lenders and title commitments. I mean, so many words and language that you have to use, but I'm not very savvy with computers. Obviously, I dropped out of school in 6th grade, so I'm not a strong reader. I don't know how to type fast. I didn't know how to use a spreadsheet. So all those things I needed to learn. So some of you guys may be even ahead of me, because you're great at typing. You're great at creating spreadsheets. Excuse me. So you may have a foot ahead of me when I first started. So it doesn't matter how difficult it is. It matters how much you want it. And for me, I really wanted it to work. So all that I was focused on is, if I need to do this, I need to figure out a way to do it. If you really want to do something, you will not find an excuse to not do it. But if you don't want to do something, you will find an excuse. You will always have an excuse for something you do not want to do. And so, you know, for me, it was very, very difficult to start my real estate investing career, but I wanted it. I felt like I needed to do something, and I felt like I was going to be good at this. So I went full force, and I would not let myself tell me no. So if I didn't know how to fill out a contract, I learned. If I didn't know how to do a spreadsheet, I learned. If I didn't know what a title commitment was, I learned. So I learned all those things. There was no one there telling me, hey, get up in the morning and learn this. Get up in the morning and figure out how to do this. Get up in the morning and go find some leads. No one told me to do those things. I really wanted to do them. So if you really want to do something, you will find a way to do it. So it was very, very difficult, but some of you guys may have it easier than I do. So, don't get discouraged. If you really want it, you will get it done. Thank you for your question.
This is just a comment. It's Steve, great presentation, but maybe boost the audio level, please.
Oh, am I not loud enough? I don't know. It's because I'm using my iPad, guys, because I broke my phone. So normally when I use my phone, I can put it a little bit closer to me and it's louder. So sorry if you can't hear me. I'll try to scoot on this side. I think this is where the speaker is, so I'll try to scoot this way, so maybe my voice will be louder this way. I don't know if this is better.
Okay, Vanessa just answered you. Okay, that helps, and I'm a realtor too, so I just want to get your input.
Okay, but I don't know what Vanessa's question was. Vanessa said thank you for answering her question, and thank you for my input, and she's a realtor too. But I don't remember what her question was. That's okay. She knows which one it is. Okay, so what's next?
I think that's pretty much all that I had in here. I don't know if you're missing.
Okay, so I think those are all the questions that we have this time. So thank you for joining us. I'm so sorry if we've missed your question. What we'll do is next month when we try to do this again, we're going to try to do it, more or less once a month. For the people that are sending me questions and how to do stuff. Again, it's not because I don't want to answer your questions, it's because normally what happens is, I get people that ask me if they can ask me one question, and then that one question turns into another question, and then another question, and then another question. So by the end of that encounter, we have like 5 questions and then 5 answers, and then maybe 30, 40 minutes, an hour later. And so, I can't do that too much. I have to make sure that I invest my time wisely, as you guys should do as well. So I definitely want to answer your questions, but I think this is the best setup for us to go ahead and answer questions, and not get so much caught up in answering that one person's question, because most of you guys have the same question. So if we answer all at once, then we save time. And so, I get like 5 people asking me the same question in one day. So I think this is best. So I think one more question, and then we'll go ahead and close out, and then we can go ahead and start doing it maybe next month. If you guys like, you can comment below and let me know if you want me to do it next month. And if you have questions for next month, then we can definitely do it next month. Okay? So, last question. Alex.
Do you ever find it challenging in this business because of your gender?
Do I find it? Oh, wow, that's a great question. Alex. Is Alex a guy or a girl?
It's a guy.
A guy. I like your question. So, do I find it challenging to be in this business because I am a girl? Yes, I do. Real estate investing is a man's world. But hey, I'm here and I'm kicking. So I got to show these guys that I can hang with the guys, and that's what I've been doing. And I've learned, I've earned a lot of their respect for the stuff that I do and the way that I handle my business. And so I'm very grateful for those guys. Some of these are like the leading guys in our market. And I'm very grateful for those guys that are in my life and that are supporting me, and that they see what I've been doing. But it is very challenging for women to be in the real estate investing world, or just real estate in general, because it's a man's world, especially investing, because I don't know very many women in real estate investing that own their own company and that do this full time and that are successful at it. I don't know very many women that do that. So that's it. It's very challenging. Very, very challenging. So thank you to those guys that recognize the hard work that us gals do. So anyway, well, thank you for spending some time with me. I really appreciate that you guys sat here and watched this video. I really appreciate you guys reaching out and asking your questions. Although I cannot answer every single question, all the time, know that I really wish I could, and that I really had more than 24 hours a day so I could answer every single one of your questions individually. So I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, that's it. You can't tell me one more anymore. Okay. One more question.
One. He said, what's the most challenging project that you had, and what were the lessons learned?
What was the most challenging project that I've had, and what was the most... What was the what? What was the most challenging project I've had, and what were the lesson learned? And what was the lesson learned? The most challenging project I had. I don't know that I have one particular one where has been like the most challenging one. Like, they've all been challenging in their own right. They've all had challenges. Like my first deal, I'll just give you a little bit of the story on that one. I reached out to the seller not knowing that he had the house on the market. He had just listed it like 2 days before with the realtor. And so the realtor was giving him all kinds of false, I guess, I don't want to say false numbers, but like getting his hopes up that he was going to get more money than he really was. We should always, tell people that they're going to get a little bit less, and then when they get a little bit more, it's a little bit more fun than to tell them, hey, you're going to get this much and you get this little at the end, so you're not as happy. So anyway, that was one of the challenges. I had to really confront that realtor, and which is even worse because I think she was a broker, and I really had to confront her because like she was just really telling him something. I don't know where she was getting those numbers from, and then she didn't want to submit my offer, the offer that I was giving, and he knew what the offer was because I talked to him. I already had the conversation with him, and she wouldn't submit my offer to him. So, that was one of the challenges with that. And then the other challenge with that property is that we didn't get a survey. And because we didn't get a survey, when we turned around and sold the house, they requested a survey. So we gave them a survey and realized that there was an encroachment on the property. What that means, if you don't know what an encroachment is that a neighbor's property is in your property. So this neighbor's building, their house, they added in addition to the house, and they built it like 3 feet into our property line, and which was on the easement as well. And so we had a lot of issues with that and trying to get that situated so our buyer could go ahead and buy that house. So that was very challenging. There's this other one where the contractor ran out on me And so I was with the challenge of trying to find new guys and overpaying for that property as far as the repair budget, because now I got to pay these people to fix his issues, you know, or the other project where I underestimated and gave them, underestimated, I guess, the value, or what I tell people, like, I always tell people, you know, stick to the numbers, don't fall in love with the house, if the numbers don't work, move on, go to the next one. Don't get emotional, because I got emotional. And I bought that property because I really wanted to do it. I really thought that it would work, and then it didn't. It didn't work out the way that I did. I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make any money either. And so I was supposed to buy that house at, let's say, $100,000. And the seller owed, let's say, $130,000. And so he owed $130,000, and I was supposed to buy it at $100,000. But then I was like, okay, fine. I'll pay the $130,000. You walk away, you get nothing, and I take over this project. I pay that $130,000, and I do the rehab. Well, guess what? That $30,000 that I overpaid for that property, I ended up needing it for rehab. So when it was all said and done, I didn't make any money. You know, I didn't pay any money, but I didn't make any money on that deal. So those are all lessons that are learned. And so each deal has had its hardship. They all have new issues. That's why I say there is no guru in real estate investing, because you're always learning new things in every deal. Every deal has been different. All these things I've learned, and not in one deal. They all have been things that I learned in every single deal. And every time I do a deal, I sit down in my office and I analyze everything that went wrong with that deal, and I try to make sure that we put systems in place to avoid that from happening again. So thank God, everything that's happened, it hasn't happened again. So, you know, because we take those lessons and we learn from them. So, I guess that's pretty much it. I think that was the question, right? Or was there a second part to that question?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So, those are all the questions that I'm going to answer today. And so, I thank you again for spending the time with me. I really appreciate you guys sitting here and listening to me ramble. You know, and I'm doing this just for you, you know, because I don't have the time to sit there and individually answer each and every question. So if you guys like to do this again, let me know. We'll go ahead and set up a time for another one, and we'll let you guys know. I'll post it in the different groups and on my page when that will be. If, again, you're interested, let me know, comment below, and give us a like and share it with your friends that want to do real estate investing. Perhaps they may find some benefit to all my rambling. So until then, thank you so much for watching. It's Renovation Diva time. I gotta go because I'm hungry. Bye, guys. Okay, and finish.